cast out by my parents, I walked into a bank with Grandpa's card, $1, to be changed everything. I still remember the sound of the door locking behind me. Not slamming, not shouting, just a soft, final click, like my entire childhood being quietly erased. I stood on the porch with a trash bag holding my clothes, my phone at 4%, and nowhere to go. The house I grew up in glowed warm behind the curtains. Inside, my parents were already pretending I no longer existed. I was 23, female, no job, no savings, and officially disowned. All because I refused to give my brother what he wanted. The golden son and the disposable daughter. My parents loved to say they treated us equally. That was a lie. My brother Ethan was the golden child, the athlete, the entrepreneur, the future CEO. Every mistake he made was learning. Every failure was someone else's fault. Me, I was the backup plan, the helper, the responsible one. I cooked, I cleaned, I worked 2 part-time jobs while finishing college. I paid my own tuition. When Ethan wrecked his 3rd car, I was the one who loaned him money. The night everything ended, my parents sat me down at the dining table like it was a business meeting. Ethan needed capital for his startup. They wanted my name on the loan. Just for paperwork, Mom said sweetly. You have better credit, Dad added. I said no. For the first time in my life, I said no. The room went cold. Dad's face hardened. Mom's smile vanished. Ethan didn't even look at me. He just smirked. You're selfish, Mom said. After everything we've done for you, Dad added. By midnight, my bags were on the porch. The only thing I took. I didn't cry right away. Shocked as that. I walked until my feet hurt, then sat at a bus stop and stared at my phone. No friends answered. Norele tibskerd. That's when my fingers brushed against the old leather wallet in my jacket pocket. My grandpa's wallet. He'd given it to me 2 years before he died. Keep it safe, he'd said. One day it might save you. I thought it was just sentimental. Old photos, a faded driver's license, and one card. A black card. No logo. No bank name. Just my grandpa's name embossed in silver. I'd never used it. I didn't even know if it worked. But I remembered something else he once said quietly when my parents weren't around. Your family doesn't know everything about me. Walking into the bank. The next morning, I hadn't slept. I walked into a downtown bank branch, not because I expected miracles, but because I needed answers. And maybe hope. The place smelled like polished wood and money. A young teller smiled. How can I help you? My hands shook as I slid the card across the counter. I'd like to check the balance. She typed. Paused. Typed again. Her smile froze. I'm going to get the manager. That's when panic hit. Was I committing fraud? Was this illegal? Should I run? But my legs wouldn't move. The bank manager, a tall man in a tailored suit, approached slowly. He didn't look at me at first. He looked at the card. Then his face drained of color. Miss, he said carefully. Could you please come with me? The number that changed everything. They led me into a private office. The door closed. The manager sat down like his knees might give out. Are you related to? He said my grandfather's name. Yes, I whispered. He was my grandfather. The man swallowed. Did he explain the account to you? No. The manager turned his screen toward me. I thought I was hallucinating. $1,200,000,000. $1.2 billion. My breath left my body. That's not possible, I said. He was a mechanic. The manager nodded. Officially who my grandpa really was. Over the next hour, everything unraveled. My grandfather had been an early investor in multiple tech companies in the 1980s and 90s. He held silent equity, no publicity, no headlines. He trusted no one, especially my parents. According to his estate documents, everything was placed in a private trust. And then came the final line. Primary beneficiary me. My parents excluded. My brother explicitly excluded. Reason listed, breach of trust. The manager looked at me softly. Your grandfather believed you were the only one who deserved it. From homeless to untouchable. By that evening, I had a private legal team, temporary housing in a luxury hotel, security, and access to funds I didn't yet understand. I cried in the shower, not because of the money, but because someone had finally chosen me. My grandpa had seen everything. The call from my mother. 2 days later, my phone rang. Mom. I answered. Her voice was sweet, too sweet. Sweetheart, we heard there was a misunderstanding. I smiled for the first time in weeks. Oh, I said. Yes, about the bank, about your grandfather. I let the silence stretch. Then I said you kicked me out. That was emotional. She replied quickly. Families forgive. No, I said calmly. Families protect. She started crying. I hung up. Revenge, quiet and complete. I didn't scream. I didn't post online. I didn't confront. I did something better. I bought the mortgage on my parents' house. And I didn't renew it. I paid off Ethan's secret debts, then legally transferred them back into his name. I funded scholarships for kids like me. And I changed my last name. The last thing I did. On my grandfather's birthday, I visited his grave. I didn't know, I said softly, but thank you. The wind moved through the trees. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't disposable. I was free. Money doesn't change people. It exposes them. I learned that within a week. The moment my grandfather's name surfaced in banking circles, people who had ignored me my entire life suddenly remembered I existed. Old relatives, former classmates, family friends, and of course my parents. They didn't apologize. They rebranded. My parents' version of the story. According to them, I was a confused daughter who had been temporarily overwhelmed. According to them, they had always supported me. According to them, kicking me out was tough love. They even told people they were proud of me. I found out when a distant aunt sent me a screenshot of my mother's Facebook post. So proud of my daughter for stepping into her grandfather's legacy. Red family is everything. I laughed so hard I cried. Then I deleted Facebook. The first legal strike. My lawyers warned me. Once people realize the scale of the assets, lawsuits will come. They were right. 2 weeks later, my parents filed a claim contesting the trust. Their argument, I was manipulated. I was too young to manage wealth. The inheritance should be redistributed fairly. Fairly? I told my lawyers to proceed. Quietly. Ruthlessly. Courtroom truth. The judge was an older woman with sharp eyes. She read everything. The trust documents. The exclusion clauses. My grandfather's recorded statements. Yes, recorded. Turns out my grandfather had anticipated this exact moment. A video played in court. He sat in his old garage, hands stained with grease. Voice calm. If you're watching this, it means my children have proven me right. They see money as entitlement. My granddaughter sees responsibility. My mother broke down crying. The judge didn't even blink. Case dismissed. With prejudice. Meaning they could never challenge it again. My brother's meltdown. Ethan showed up at my hotel unannounced. Security stopped him. He screamed my name in the lobby. I went downstairs, not for him but for closure. He looked small, angry, desperate, broke. You owe me, he hissed. For what? I asked. For growing up with nothing while you get everything. I laughed. Nothing. I said softly. You got cars, I got hand-me-downs, you got bailouts, I got kicked out. He stepped closer. You could fix everything. Just help me once. I leaned in. This is me helping. I said. I'm letting you face consequences. Security escorted him out. That was the last time I ever saw my brother. The house. Remember my parents' house? The one they locked me out of. I never stepped inside again. Instead, I sent a letter. Not angry. Not cruel. Just facts. They had 60 days to vacate. No extensions. No negotiation. When the day came, I wasn't there. I was on a plane. The end becoming untouchable. Leaving the past behind. I moved to a city where no one knew my last name. No expectations. No guilt. No manipulation. I dressed simply. I lived quietly. Money became a tool, not a trophy. I invested in women-owned businesses, abuse recovery shelters, education funds for kids cut off by family. I built a life my grandfather would respect. The letter I never sent. I wrote one letter to my parents. I never mailed it. You taught me how to survive without love. Grandpa taught me how to live with integrity. I don't hate you. I outgrew you. I burned it. The final scene. On the anniversary of the night they kicked me out, I stood on my balcony overlooking the city. Same girl, different world. I thought about the trash bag, the locked door, the forgotten card. They thought they erased me. Instead, they created someone they could never control again. Final line. They kicked me out like I was nothing. Turns out, I was everything they never deserved. And